All right, so the next one here, Russia's military is bigger than before the invasion. So this is a real indictment of the American proxy war against Russia. So a top U.S. general told Congress last week that Russia's military is 15% bigger today than it was before the February 2022 invasion of Ukraine. And this means that the goal of weakening Russia has totally failed. So this is Christopher Cavoli. He's the head of U.S. European Command. So he said, the army is larger by 15% than when it invaded. He said that Russia increased its frontline troop strength from 360,000 to 470,000 over the past year, mostly due to Russia raising the maximum age of conscription from 27 to 30. Listen to this quote. He said, quote, "In sum, Russia is on track to command the largest military on the continent. Regardless of the outcome of the war in Ukraine, Russia will be larger, more lethal, and angrier than the West when it invaded," end quote. So, again, this is something Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin declared back in April 2022, that one of the goals of this thing was to weaken Russia. And more recently, we've seen hawks in Congress, when they're trying to justify continuing fueling this thing, when they're trying to get more money for it, the claim is that, we're getting our money's worth. Russia's military is taking a beating and no Americans are dying. It's just the Ukrainians who are dying. But here we have a very high level U.S. general saying, no, Russia's military is bigger and stronger than it was before. And they've also really increased their industrial capacity, and they're way outproducing the U.S. and NATO when it comes to artillery shells, tanks, and things like that. So this all goes to show that time is very much on Russia's side. And the next story here also shows that. Ukrainian general says that the battlefield situation has significantly worsened. So this is Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief General Oleksandr Syrsky. He said on Saturday that the situation on the front line in eastern Ukraine has significantly worsened in recent days as Russian forces are making steady gains. So Syrsky, who replaced Valery Zaluzhny in February, said that since Russian President Vladimir Putin was reelected last month, there's been a significant intensification of Russia's offensive. The Ukrainian commander also said that the warmer weather has made it easier for the Russian tanks and other armored vehicles to advance. And this, it seems like Russia is focusing its offensive on eastern Ukraine. It's mostly, the fighting is heavy in the east rather than in the south in Zaporozhye and that. But Ukrainian and Western officials have said that they expect Russia, that this late spring or early summer, they're expecting Russia to launch a major offensive along the entire front. And then Ukraine could really be in trouble. And another report I went over recently was that Ukrainian military officers were saying that wherever Russia decides to focus its offensive, Ukraine's lines could totally collapse. So that could potentially happen in the east there.